Hi, I'm Sheila Gossett, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about cairns today. You may already know that I'm the one that stacked the cairns outside the big windows in the large room at the center. And I guess several people have asked questions about them, and so Angie asked if I would share a little bit about them. So, cairn is spelled Cairn, and it's pronounced with just one syllable, cairn. I tell you that because I can't seem to say it right. My family keeps telling me I'm saying Karen, and it's only one syllable, cairn. So cairns are simply stacking rocks in a way that holds more meaning than they would be if they were the same rocks just laying around on the ground. They don't have to be special rocks. You don't have to stack them in any special way. Whatever works for you, that's a cairn. But there's something about seeing stacked rocks that elicits a reaction inside us, a reaction that is mysterious, ineffable, kind of unexplainable. It's what's the big deal? It's just some rocks. But somehow it becomes a thing of beauty, and it seems to be universal. It's the kind of thing that inspires poetry. For example, I knew I would love this poetry book just by looking at the cover of it. Um, so, cairns have been a little history. Cairns have been found all over the world and date back to prehistoric times. They can be used for all kinds of purposes, from marking a trail, um, indicating some kind of landmark like the equator or something, um, warning you of danger ahead, like a drop off or a big hole, or it could be just for fun, just the aesthetics. Or a cairn can be deeply meaningful to the person who created it. You can choose the rocks very intentionally and stack them in a way that holds deep meaning for you so that they can be part of a therapeutic kind of ritual that you create privately just for yourself. I have two cairns here. I hope you can see them. Um, one of these cairns I built just for fun, just like a little kid found cool rocks and I stacked them up and I like it. The other cairn I did as part of a workshop, and I chose the rocks very carefully. Each rock holds a very symbolic meaning for me. And at the time, my son was going through a very challenging time, and I stacked those rocks with him in mind. Um, and doing so, and then I did it as part of this workshop with a group of friends, and then we each shared our cairn, all different kinds of ideas and thoughts, and a wide diversity of experiences for each of us building our cairns. And doing that for me helped me feel very connected to my son and helped me deal with knowing what he was going through. So, cairns have all kinds of purposes. Um, And I'm not going to tell you which of these two cairns is the one that I built just for fun and which is the one that I built as a therapeutic personal ritual. But if you're interested, if enough people are interested, once we can all get back together again, I would be happy to do a full-blown workshop. And at that time, if we do that, I will share about these two cairns and how each rock has meaning for me. And I will offer you an opportunity to build a cairn for yourself, and we can all share if you want to. So keep that in mind. You can let Angie know if you're interested in that, and if enough people are, we'll do that. Okay. I first became interested in cairns when a very close, friend of mine went on a vacation trip to Zion National Park in southern Utah. And when she came home, she shared with me about a hike that they took through the park, and they came around this big hill-sized boulder, and before them was a dry riverbed that was clear full of cairns. It had such a powerful impact on her. She felt this deep connection to all of the people that had traveled that path before her and had stacked these cairns and left them for her to enjoy. She felt connected to all of those people and connected to the nature that the stones had originally come from. So for her, it was a deeply powerful connection to all of humanity and all of nature. And to this day, that was years ago, to this day, she cannot tell that story without shedding a couple of tears. It's just that powerful to her. And so ever since then, I've been drawn to cairns, and I build them often. In fact, when she and her wife got married, they got married out of state, and I wasn't able to go to the wedding. I was camping that weekend, and I went out into the woods all alone, and I built a cairn in honor of their wedding. Cairns can have a multitude of purposes to, like I talked about before, therapeutically working through something, or like the wedding, celebrating an important event. There are no rules with cairns. It's whatever it works for you at the time. So I have a cairn in the neighborhood that I started. There's a corner that has a big rock on the corner and lots of little rocks and gravel around it. So I, one day, taking my walk, stacked it into a cairn. And since then, people from the neighborhood go by, and if it's fallen down, they restack it, or people build their own cairns on it. So I love going past that corner now and seeing what my neighbors have done with the cairn that particular day. It makes me feel connected to my whole neighborhood. So the cairns at the center that I stacked outside the windows, I really love the cancer support community. I have done lots of different classes there, and I have felt deeply connected to every one of them, every class I have taken there. And lots of the classes are meditative for me, whether it's Qigong or the meditation group or yoga or Tai Chi, lots of them. And lots of times I feel like I want a focal point And so I stacked those cairns one afternoon after a class, just spontaneously went back there and found some rocks and piled them up. And that became a focal point for me. Um, I did it also at the same time that my son was going through those challenges. And so it kind of was in honor of his life experience too. And then once he got through that challenge that he was facing, they stayed just as important to me because they were always there when I was doing Qigong or whatever. And they became an important focal point for me. And I know that they became important for some other people to use as a focal point. So they have stayed. But I don't own them. They're not mine. They belong to anyone who sees them and is inspired by them. So some cairns are built to be a permanent structure, but most cairns are just a part of nature. And things change. And so they might fall over, and that's okay. Life changes, life moves on. And so the cairns there at the center might fall over. And if they do, you feel free to go back behind that wall and stack them back up, put them all aside, start fresh, build whatever it feels right for you. Because cairns can speak to the whole human experience. They can be the fun, carefree, whimsical side of life, or they can be the challenging side of life where we need to create rituals to intentionally heal from a particular wound or travel a particular space of life's journey. So if you choose to build a cairn in that window, I will enjoy your cairn just as much as you may have enjoyed mine. So that's all for today. And maybe we will join together again someday and build cairns together and share them. Until that day, thank you all.